Cool. Newspeak. The next time a man touches my knee, I'll know what to do. But it took it happening in stages of convolution for me to go from ingenue to even knowing I didn't like it, that it wasn't alright, and that I should have said so to the open mic predator cautious enough to surprise me by asking. It took it happening in concert with casual derision from the negging elder who shocked me out of speech that got me into the headspace mad enough to rant about her later. It took waiting until his entitled ass did it again before I said, for the first time in my life, please don't do that. I know how to ward off being groped socially now, but it took constant imposing evolution for me to travel from sex-exploited child hiding from my caretakers to exhibitionist shying from strangers behind my friends into the first art model those teachers had ever heard say, "You do not have permission to touch me." It took practice, distance, and encouragement. I have never known what to say when some schmuck says something off or fishy or sideways mean, because they're always so far flung from my reality. It always says more about them when I'm pushed out of my body and ability to speak, but maybe because I have the capacity for shame between us. I always wish I had some word with which to push, deflect, or make it cost something to the chump they would not want to pay, like they expect me to just take it. I never know what to do with the aggressive overcompensation of men or the defensive competition of women. There is not enough pity in me to match that condescension. And anyway, it's not how I want to spend my time, even if it helped. But it doesn't help. And abuse is too common a crime to convince the population out of the practice. To cure a culture of cruelty takes revolution. And we seem much more concerned with our private hero journeys and grandiose messianic personal mythologies to observe class oppression or recognize our crutch diversions as such. I may never know how to live in a cult of personality conflicts, because I have no interest in biting comebacks or being a sociopathic anti-hero. And why would I bother to assert myself in the face of the wildly uncurious, who wouldn't notice either way, when I could always watch and learn, and hope to be proven wrong, when I could wait and plan and move when I can make sure. In the long run, I never learn how to strike as well as I do parry. Instead, short stints taught me not to do what I couldn't carry, and maybe one day I'll teach myself how to be in a hostile world, working hard to get off by making me uneasy. But for now, I'd rather live in spare company capable of conscience and empathy. I'd rather die than resign myself to the way things are. Rather be poor and obscure than be a good sport anymore, being too sick of seeing my sisters turned out to emerge victims of survivor culture. Like we're all on the island and not here to make friends. Tired of the poverty that sends me out to treadmill beside brothers whose gifts are used as tools of abuse to refute truths of vulnerability, as if there is ever winning atop a crushed community. The next time an open mic host puts his hands on my shoulders and knees, the next time he puts his things on my things on the table in a not-so-subtle move to dominate, the next time his reputation is of more concern than the lives of the children he's raped, the next time an open mic host lords over me in the boys' club before spouting rape haikus in lieu of the romance, and the audience lets him conflate the two, the next time he calls me shy girl because I despise and would rather ignore him. The next time an open mic host who calls himself my friend would rather give me a dirty Sanchez on set than wish me well with the boy he didn't get, who would rather see the friendship end than accept our invitation, I might not know what to do. I might just remain in the flames of my continuous sorrow and rage while the smug and self-satisfied move on to the next girl to chase away from the stage. I might follow my training in a play-along that never lets on that I know what they've done to me, that I know what they're doing. When they make the world so unsafe, I have to write down what I'm thinking if I ever want it sung among the poor and sick to whom a woman's sex is humiliating degradation, because I don't know how to hit back. And I don't want to. I only know how to tell the truth when I'm allowed to. I may only ever possess the wisdom of the stare when it comes to those who let their assailants convince them. Make sure the poison of hurt passes through the pure conduit they prove to be. But women, like children, are with the earth overridden and taken from. I will be the dirt. I will absorb as we the grounded do and be forced by grave desire to ruminate until I have something to say to the ghost children of these persons like pulsars in my brain. I don't want to play this. As I've learned that fighting is for those with the tools to engage. The closest I can come to is retrospect on a page. Our neurology develops compounded in the chronic trauma of monolithic shadows that have demanded the patience it takes to know that harm doesn't only come by the hands of the careless or misguided. One doesn't become one's enemy by admitting their existence. Pretending psychopathy just isn't so won't make it go away. I'd rather kill my captors than use torture as conversion, even if it worked, because it doesn't work. Instead, that is how we become our tormentors. When individualism reigns like identity politics and the echoes of epic overlords that trickle down to groups in great bellows saying, "Don't compare notes." But I have, and found no female born feminine. It takes the conditioning that make none of us alone in our litanies, though endlessly confined and solitary. The majority of men become petty oppressors at the behest of the percent that make sure they know victimization more intimately than dissent, than shame admission and offer guard job brotherhood as the only suture. This is not my story, but our situation, and how we comport ourselves will forge the future. Not happy thoughts in a denial lineup of three, intentionally afflicted where we could have sense and ability. I dare you to tell a violated child that fear summoned the predator, that they must have chosen this before birth because you believe in justice, or that they should let it go. To inform a rape victim that there's always a choice, or that they just need to find their voice. To follow the author of The Secret off the cliff of saying that the water came in because the people on the shore sent out tsunami vibrations. To declare the genocide of indigenous, black Americans, or the world's women an aspect of the perfection. To say the systematic exploitation of the poor is a self-esteem issue. That the homeless are lazy. That women are crazy. That boys have always been nothing more than glands, and always will be. I dare you to continue to double think the bars into place that will ever make you my enemy, as our fates are spun by one another's hands, not destined to be. How dare you pretend we commune when you have no solidarity? I might move slow and speak socialized hard to the brink of audibility, but I am no coward. I dare you face me. Thanks for listening.